Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we are talking about the 1979 miniseries Salem's Lot.
Stephen King, the best-selling author of Carrie and The Shining, takes you on a startling journey to Salem's Lot.
So Salem's Lot is based on the book by Stephen King and tells the story of a writer named Ben Mears who returns to his childhood home, Jerusalem's Lot, which is in Maine, and he comes back there to write like his newest story, which is based on the creepy Marston house. But when he gets there, he soon realizes that this town has a vampire problem. So one of the things that I really like about the miniseries, because it had been a while since I had watched this, and I kind of got the inspiration after watching, Midnight Mass. I was like, you know what? I want to go back and watch this thing, and actually I got to visit part of the set for the new Salem's Lot movie that's actually going to be coming out. So combination of those two things kind of got me, I was like, I want to go back and revisit the miniseries. And I think one of the things that I really like about, this miniseries was that it does a really good job of capturing that small town feel, but it also does a good job as far as, bringing that atmosphere as far as the horror part of the story goes. There's a lot of, creepy stuff in this miniseries. And I think one of the biggest things for me too is especially like the Marston house. So the Marston house is almost its own character in both the book and in the miniseries here, and it sits on top of it's like on the edge of town, and it sits up like on this hill, so it almost like is looming over like the rest of the town, which and it just looks really run down and everything. And Ben Mears even has a story about when he was a kid that he went inside the house like part of like a dare, and he thinks that he saw one of the former owners in there, he'd hung himself, and just, you find out early on that a lot of bad shit happened in this house. So just like the house itself is almost like a character, which I thought was really cool. So, early on, Ben, he moves back to town, and he starts talking to this woman named Susan Norton. They kind of strike up a relationship, and I really liked her character. She was really likable. But, as the same time that Ben comes back, we also see that this character of Straker, him and his mysterious, partner, they open up this antique shop in town, and soon after the arrival of these, three characters, residents of the town start dying, but, we find out that they don't stay dead for too long. So naturally, the police, they're a little suspicious of, Ben coming back to town after all this time, and, kind of question him a little bit, but they're also, suspicious of, Straker as well, because he's just kind of like a weirdo too. So there's kind of like that investigation there, but it doesn't take long to, to kind of get into the story that you find out that there is a vampire that, killing like the residents and then turning them into vampires. And one of the most infamous scenes, in the book, both the book and the miniseries here, is that you have the two Glick brothers, and one day, they're coming home and they decide to take a shortcut through the woods. Well, the youngest brother, he gets like separated while the older brother's like going home, and it's like, wow, you're a shitty older brother. But, they get separated, and then you see the little brother gets attacked by the vampire. So, the older brother, he shows up, home by himself. And when he's, sleeping later that night, we see the younger brother show up, and he's outside his window, and he's just like floating in the air, and he has these creepy eyes, and he's tapping on the window. That scene, I know, has given a lot of people, nightmares like over the years. And I think that scene definitely still holds up, today. It's very creepy. One of the most like iconic scenes, not only in the movie, but I just think like, when you think of like horror and vampire films, that's definitely a scene that comes to mind. Eventually, you find out that, Straker's mysterious partner, Mr. Barlow, he's the vampire. And then, you find out that Straker, he's, his protector, basically. And I love the design of Mr. Barlow. I thought he looked really creepy, pretty scary. And, the fact that he doesn't show up a lot, I think, makes his appearances more effective, when he does like show up. Granted, they probably couldn't use him a lot because of, again, it was a mini-series, and, back then in 79. But I think that really works for the mini-series because, like I said, he's really creepy. So when he does show up, you're like, holy fucking shit. And so, towards like the end of the movie, the finale, the, final showdown, you have Ben Mears, you have Mark. They go to the Marston house along with like, another character. and they go in there because, you know, Susan went in the house, so they're going to try and rescue her. And so you just have kind of this, you know, this big showdown between the characters. And at this point, there's really not many people that are left in the town that either they're vampires or some of the people, they just straight up left town. So it's basically just, you know, these couple of people going into the house to try and take down, you know, Barlow, you know, to end this all. And I gotta say, like I said, it had been a while, you know, since I'd seen the miniseries. And so the one scene where Straker, he's coming down the stairs and you have Ben and Mark and, you know, they shoot him a couple times and he just like keeps walking. I was like, you know what? That is exactly like the scene from Fright Night, which is another one of my favorite vampire films. So I was like, you can see like the influence that, you know, Salem's Lot had on Fright Night, which I thought was really cool because, you know, it had been a while, like I said, since I had saw this. So to see that kind of pop, I was like, yep, yeah, I know exactly where that's from. And so eventually, you know, they end up finding Barlow and they end up staking him, you know, killing him and setting like the house on fire. So it's a pretty cool, you know, ending to like the whole film, like overall. So overall, you know, even though there is like at times, and again, this came out in 1979. So there is at times that there is certain aspects that I felt a little dated. Like there's one point where there's a character and he's you know, he's turned into a vampire. He's like sitting in a chair and he's like, look at me. And just the way, when I was watching, I kind of laughed a little bit. You know, it came off a little cheesy, but again, you know, that's to be expected with something that was a made-for-TV series, you know, back in like 1979. So there is little aspects like that, but overall, for the most part, I still think, you know, this does really hold up, and there is still a lot of, you know, creepy moments in there. Like I said, the moment with the Glick boy when he's floating out the window. Just the design of, you know, of Barlow, I think he looks creepy. So overall, it still is a really fun miniseries, and you know, definitely something that I think you would have fun checking out around, you know, Halloween for sure. But I am excited to see what they're gonna do with the new version that's gonna be coming out. And like I said, I actually got a chance to visit. They were shooting down in Ipswich, Mass, and I actually got a chance to visit the set because they were shooting like the upcoming week, so you could kind of like walk around. And I'm probably gonna put together a little like video just like showing some of the, you know, the different things that I got to see. But that was really cool. I'm really excited to see what they can do. I think it was the writer, one of the people involved with the remake for It is the director Gary Doberman, I believe. If that's wrong, I apologize. But I know he was involved in It, you know, the It remake. So really hope that they can kind of do what they did for, you know, for the It miniseries with It Chapter 1. They did a great job with that. So if they can kind of bring that same flavor to Salem's Lot, I think that will be really fun to check out. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. So, but yeah, I want to hear what your guys, you know, thoughts are on the 1979 miniseries for Salem's Lot. You know, is it something that you've seen? If not, or if it is, you know, definitely let me know like what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and let me know what your favorite scene is from the movie as well. And if it isn't something that you've seen, is it something that you're gonna watch? Granted, you have spoilers, but hey, this movie came out in 1979, so you should kind of expect that. And overall, as far as like a score goes, I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. Yeah. As always, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.